the bold sound, uncompromising sound, to a softer sound, even among fundamental Baptists. A lot of the music that we independent Baptists have been listening to is of the soft, sedate, non-offensive type sound. H.T. Spence has observed this. And he said in his book, Confronting Contemporary Christian Music, the battle theme in present-day fundamentalist music compositions is conspicuously absent. The melodies and arrangements are progressively lacking strength and literally create the soft sound. And I want to illustrate that in a couple ways here. It's a song about Christian warfare.
Yes, Jesus calls for soldiers who
volunteer for the Lord's service.
Soldiers who will serve Him.
Soldiers. And fitting those good words is a good solid type of music. Good solid, forceful, bold, strong type of music. Now here's another music about being a soldier.
I'm a soldier of the cross. I'm a follower of the Lamb.
Now that's not rock music. It's not CCM. But it's like a toy soldier or a chocolate soldier maybe. There's just nothing strong about it. Doesn't fit. The words don't fit. Here's another example. Powerful, forceful, good, solid music going with those wonderful words. But here's another rendition of that. Very soft, very gentle, very sweet. There's nothing wrong with it in itself, but it softens the message down. It doesn't fit properly. It's nice, contemplative. That music in itself is not wrong at all. But it doesn't really fit those words, whereas that traditional piece of music does. And so there's a softening going on in fundamental Baptist music. Doug Bachrick observes that since music is to be used in the New Testament church for teaching and admonishing with the Word of Christ, we need to be careful that our music covers a broad range of doctrine and appropriate emotional responses. And so we also always should be searching for the right music for the right words. The words, all of our songs are not about fighting. But whatever it is, the message of the music needs to match the message of the words. So there are many styles of music that are not suitable. And I want to mention one more, and that is repetitious styles. Repetition is another major element of the contemporary Christian worship experience. Now, some of you don't know anything about this. You haven't personally experienced it. You're not out of the charismatic movement. You've never really been around this personally. But the repetition is a huge part of the experience they're seeking. And because of that, CCM has been called 7-11 music. 7 words sung 11 times. And really, if you listen to the music, that's not always the case, but it's very typical. And that's part of the experience, the package that includes the strong syncopated rhythm, the unresolving chords, the central vocal techniques, the rise and fall of the sound, and then the repetition of it all creates this experience. Integrity worship music, one of the big names in contemporary worship, says that they were formed to help Christian leaders worldwide experience God's presence. That's what they come to church for. To experience, to feel God. And that's why they use this kind of music. And contemporary worshipers give themselves over to the music in search of that experience. Now they know how to use this music. When this contemporary praise music begins to come into an independent Baptist church, it's actually a very funny looking thing. Because the music is all about, man, having an experience, letting yourself go, and giving yourself over to the music. But independent Baptists, when they first start using it, they just stand there, and because you're not supposed to dance, and you're still not supposed to when you first start using the music, because you're standing on the fence still. And I remember going one time to Liberty, to Jerry Falwell's church, Thomas Road Baptist Church, after they had started using contemporary music, and they had the worship team, and they had the worship leader, and they had the rock and roll band, but everybody was still standing there. That's not what you're supposed to do with charismatic music. It's all about an experience. Notice this. See, that's how you're supposed to use this music. That's what it's all about. Totally giving themselves over to that. Carries along, it's repeated. The music, the pulsating of the music, the rhythms, the chords never coming down anywhere. It's carrying the people along. That's what this is all about, folks. That's what the devil wants to do to this church. He wants to take this church there. And it can easily happen. Easily. Easily. It's happening all over the world. And that's what this music's all about, an experience. And every one of those elements of the music is focused on helping to create that experience. It's not just about sitting there, standing there, singing words, thinking about those words, thinking about the Lord, praising the Lord in your heart because of the words and the influence of the words. It's nothing like that. It's all about this powerful emotional experience. That's what contemporary Christian music is. Music is a language. And the message of the music must match the message of the words. That's our point tonight. And the point is that God's people need to listen to the music and measure the music by God's Word. These simple principles, very simple, can be used anywhere in the world. Many critics say, well, that's okay for America. What about some other part of the world? Well, I live in another part of the world, in one of the most pagan countries in the world, in Nepal. And these same biblical principles, you can take them there, you can apply them there, you can use them there to distinguish between contemporary and spiritual music. I want to play a clip as we conclude this message on the sound of music from a popular independent Baptist school, which I'm not going to say the name of, but it's West Coast. And it could be others. There are many. The reason I use West Coast is because they've gone so far down the road of adapting this contemporary music, and they have such a huge influence. Now, this illustrates what is going on widely among independent Baptist churches. And the independent Baptist churches that are not using this, most of the others are using contemporary Southern gospel, which is a whole other message in our series on this. Now here's the